Are you dealing with a narcissist and so tired of arguing with them, and you want to know what their argument techniques are so that you can spot them coming a mile away? Then watch till the end of this video and you're going to know exactly when they're using those techniques on you. Hi, I'm Rebecca Zung, top 1% attorney and the best-selling author of the books Negotiate Like You Matter and Breaking Free, a Step-by-Step Divorce Guide. And I've helped millions of people go from lives of word salad, toxic stew, drama, trauma, and chaos. And I've given them the steps, the step-by-step guidance to go all the way to brand new lives, new beginnings, and new futures. And that's what I do for you right here on these videos and on this channel. So make sure that you've subscribed and you've hit that notification bell. And that way you'll get notified when I upload new videos and when I go live. So let's talk about narcissists and their argument techniques. So narcissists have no inner sense of value. They try to derive all of their value from the external, and we call that narcissistic supply. And if you're a regular watcher of my channel, you know I talk a lot about narcissistic supply, and the reason why I talk about it so much is because that's the only thing that drives a narcissist. So if you're getting ready to negotiate with a narcissist, if you're divorcing a narcissist, if you are in a relationship with a narcissist in any way, shape, or form, whether it's business, family, personal, then you are dealing with a person who is driven by one thing only, and that is narcissistic supply. So when they go to argue with you, their techniques are going to be all driven around how can I preserve my narcissistic supply, or how can I get narcissistic supply? Because that's what drives them. It's their food, it's their oxygen, it's their lifeblood, it's what they need to live on. They're like vampires who are sucking energy out and trying to get as much from a person as they possibly can. And the crazy thing is that they actually try to keep people around just because they might be a potential source of supply. So even if they're in the discard phase, then they still might be wanting to keep you around for a source of supply. And when I talk about supply, I don't necessarily mean compliments and respect and, you know, fluffing up their egos and that sort of thing. What I mean is that the other side of narcissistic supply is what I'm going to be talking about today with the argument techniques, and that is that they get supply also from, you know, leading you on, getting you to believe their lies, and just generally jerking you around and leading you by the nose, as to use an old expression. So let's talk about some of the ways that narcissists use for arguing, some of their techniques, and also how you can then respond to them. So the first way that narcissists use for arguing is they deliberately misunderstand you, or they argue in bad faith. We'll call it arguing in bad faith. But it's like they know what it is that you're saying, but they'll act like you're trying to say something else. You know, like you didn't take the trash out. Oh, you're accusing me of trying to meet with somebody on the street or something like that. And you think, no, I just want you to take the trash out. Like they'll just totally deliberately misunderstand what it is that you're saying. Or they have it be about something else. You know, one of their favorite techniques is to start going off on the tone of how you said something, because that way they don't have to address what it is that you're saying. So now it's about the tone, or now it's about something else. Oh, you brought that up. That was disrespectful. And so now you're talking about that. And you know, it's all kind of arguing in bad faith. You know, let's make it about something else. Let's deliberately misunderstand what it is that you're saying. So that's number one, is arguing in bad faith. The next technique that they use is word salad, fallacies, and nonsense. And, you know, arguing with a narcissist often involves this word salad thing, where they basically deliberately speak in a way that makes no rational sense. And if you want to know more about word salad, you should definitely check out my video, Narcissism 101, Word Salad. In fact, there's a whole series that I have on Narcissism 101 that has the basic terminology and the basic vocabulary that you need to have to be able to understand narcissism. And I talk all about these things as a lawyer, because if you want to successfully negotiate with a narcissist, if you want to successfully be able to step by step get out of these relationships in a way that you feel like it's sort of fair for you, like you can actually kind of somewhat feel whole and complete as you exit this relationship, then you have to be able to understand what drives narcissists. You have to be able to understand the types of techniques that they're using. So with word salad, nonsense, fallacies, you know, what they're doing is they speak in a way that makes no rational sense, so that you can't really even respond properly. You don't even know what the heck it is that they're talking about. And then when your response isn't even completely coherent because you don't know what it is that they're talking about, then they use that against you. And so you're constantly feeling like you're this crazy one. You know, gaslighting is a form of that, where, you know, we talked about that, you know, that we did, we had that conversation, you know, last week, and you're like, what? We didn't have that conversation about that, and we weren't even talking about something that happened last week. We were talking about something that happened today, and now you're off on this thing, and your brain just feels like it's basically scrambled eggs. So that's the second one. The third thing is provoking, bullying, or intimidating. And this is where they say things or do things that make you feel afraid, make you feel intimidated. You know, maybe they'll throw things, maybe they'll punch things, or maybe they'll just say something that is like kind of guised as it feels like a veiled threat. You know, you better be careful. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what's going to come if you keep going like this. You know, something like that, where you start to feel afraid, you start to feel intimidated, and so you kind of become scared, and maybe your brain goes into that fight, flight, freeze mode, because you just are now like trying to survive this conversation. And so you feel like you can't really continue to go into this conversation or continue in this conversation in a normal, rational way, because you're feeling like, oh my God, what's happening? What did that person just say? What kind of a threat? What is it that they're going to do to me? And that again gives them that control over you, and you also feel scared. So they get a double dose of supply that way. They get control, and you are scared. So both things are a wonderful source of supply for a narcissist. And if you have seen a narcissist use one of these tactics in an argument, and you just think, oh my God, I can't believe this. I'm shaking my head right now. I can't believe that this is what I'm dealing with. I've known that this is what I'm dealing with, but now I really see it. And if that's what you're thinking right now and you're just shaking your head, just give me an SMH for shaking my head in the comments. The next thing that you will see is lying and denying. In fact, if you catch a narcissist in a lie, There's the 4Ds, which I'm not going to tell you what they are, but I'll tell you that 2 of them are denying and deflecting. If you want to know what the other 2 are, you should definitely go check out my video on what happens when you catch a narcissist in a lie. They act as if, you know, you're the crazy one, or somebody else is at fault. It has nothing to do with them. Or maybe it has something to do with you. Maybe you're the one that has the problem. So again, it has nothing to do with anything bad about them, because, you know, they have no sense of self. So if they give anything away at all, they feel like they're not surviving. I mean, they're in survival mode, they're in scarcity mode at all times. So they can't be called out on their behavior, or they just become like a total victim in the whole thing. And, oh, I can't believe that this is my life and this is awful. And, you know, I've just been under so much stress lately. And, you know, and so, you know, now it becomes about that. And another technique that they use is the flying monkeys triangulation technique, which is everyone else thinks that you are, or no one else thinks the way you do, or I spoke to your mother and your mother agrees with me, or everyone at work thinks that you're the one that's crazy because they all think that I'm wonderful. So that whole triangulation, flying monkeys technique is another form of argument that they use. So when you see this, the way you want to respond to it is you want to just stay out of it, stay out of the emotion of it, put up boundaries, just, you know, look at it as if you are looking at a 2-year-old having a tantrum. You wouldn't get down on the floor and scream with them, and you're not going to do the same thing with narcissists. So when they're arguing with you like this, the thing you want to do is just say things like, I can see that you're upset. I know that that's what you think. Things like that. I have another whole video on phrases to disarm a narcissist. You should definitely check that out as well. And if you're getting ready to negotiate with a narcissist, as I mentioned, make sure to grab my free Crush My Negotiation prep worksheet. It's an ebook. And don't walk into a negotiation without it. You can get it at winmynegotiation.com. And we'll also drop a link to it below in the description. If you like this video, make sure you give it a like, share it to help others, and drop me a comment, and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you'll get notified when I upload new videos. If you need more support, I invite you to join me in my free private Facebook group. It's called Narcissist Negotiators with Rebecca Zung. And we'll make sure that links to all of these things are below, including to the videos that I mentioned during this video as well. So thanks so much for joining me today. I'm so glad you stopped by my channel. Remember, today's a great day to start negotiating your best life. I'll see you in the next video.